Welcome to the American Accent course. I'm Lisa Moisen. In the following lessons, you're going to learn the correct rhythm and intonation and melody of American English. It's the music of language, and it's one of the most important things that you need to know to have a good American accent. I would say it's probably even more important than learning correct vowel and consonant pronunciation. In some languages, the words sound flat and each word is pronounced the same way and each syllable is pronounced the same way. If you're speaking English quickly and you're speaking with that kind of rhythm and melody, people will have a really hard time understanding you. On the other hand, if you're stressing the wrong syllable or stressing the wrong word and your music is different than it is with an American accent, once again, your speech will be very difficult to understand. So in the following lessons, you're going to learn all of the major rules that you need to know so that you can have the natural sounding rhythm and melody of American English. Let me show you how this works. For example, if we have 5 words, it's nice to meet you. 5 different words. There is one word that we should stress more than the other one, and it would be, it's nice to meet you. So this word would be higher up here. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. When we stress a word, we make the word louder and longer and higher in pitch. Repeat after me. It's nice to meet you. Now, if you make a mistake and you stress the wrong word, for example, it's nice to meet you, or it's nice to meet you, and you're speaking quickly, as you can see, this can be a big problem and people will have a hard time understanding you. In the first several videos, you're going to learn about the stress of syllables. After that, you will learn about word stress within sentences. And finally, in the last part, you will learn about intonation, which is the pitch going up or the pitch going down. Do we say it's nice to meet you, or do we say it's nice to meet you? There are some specific rules you need to know about that. What I recommend is, as soon as you learn these rules, I want you to find something to read it out loud, and also record your voice. And then analyze your voice and ask yourself if you're stressing the right part of the word and the right part of the sentence according to the rules that you're going to learn in these videos. Keep recording your voice over and over again and practicing these rules, and you will very soon have a very good American accent. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about syllable stress. A syllable is a small unit of speech that has one vowel and sometimes a vowel and a consonant together. If you have 2 separate vowel sounds, that would be 2 separate syllables. Let's take a look at some words. For example, the word seat. We have 2 vowels, but these 2 vowels represent only one sound. It's E, seat. Therefore, this word has only one syllable, and we don't have to worry about which syllable is stressed because it's only one word and one syllable. Let's take a look at this one. This also has 2 letters, but in this case, the 2 vowels have different sounds. It's not E or A, it's I-ye, science. We break up the word right here in the middle, and we have one vowel on this side and one vowel on that side, and we say science. In this case, we need to ask ourselves which syllable is stressed. If you look in your dictionary, you will see a little accent mark like this in front of the syllable that should be stressed. In this case, it's the first one. It would be science. If this mark were located over here, the pronunciation would have to be science. And of course, we don't say science, we say science. Now, when you have a long word like this, audiovisual, audiovisual has 6 syllables, audiovisual. In that case, it's very important to know which syllable is stressed. In this case, it's going to be right here, audio-visual, audio-visual. How do we stress a syllable? We make it longer and louder and higher in pitch, audio-visual. Now, let me demonstrate to you what can happen if you make a mistake with stressing the wrong syllable. Let's look at the word success. Now, do we say success or do we say success? If you're speaking quickly and you stress the wrong syllable, definitely your words are going to be difficult to understand. So in this case, we stress the second part and we say success. I wish you success. We don't say I wish you success. Another example, the word urban. We don't say urban, we say urban. Repeat after me. Urban, we stress this part and we reduce this part. If you say urban, once again, it sounds like a completely different word. It's very important to know which syllables should be stressed when you're speaking English. Right now, I'm going to give you a little test. There are going to be some words on this board, and I want you to ask yourself which syllable should be stressed. Take a look at these words on the screen and decide which syllable you think should be stressed. You can copy these words on a page and then underline the letters that you think should be stressed. Let's see how you did on the syllable stress test. Let's take a look at the first word. Did you say decade or did you say decade? Is it first syllable or second syllable? Well, it's the first one. It's decade. Repeat, in the next decade. All right, a lot of people make a mistake and they say decade. Let's take a look at a few more words. The second one, did you say colleague or colleague? He's my colleague? That's right. Once again, it's the first syllable. Repeat after me. Colleague, colleague. He's my new colleague. Let's look at the next one. Did you say female or did you say female? Once again, it's the first one. Female. Let's look at the next one. Did you say Japan or Japan? In this case, it's the second syllable. I'm from Japan. I'm from Japan. Let's take a look at the next one. Did you say Iran or Iran? It should be the second one. He's from Iran. He's from Iran. Let's look at the next one. Is it locate or locate? It's the first one again. It's locate. Locate. Be careful. A lot of people say locate because they're thinking of the word location. Sometimes when we change the form of the verb from a verb to a noun or to an adjective, the stress within the word changes. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's look at the next one. Did you say detail or detail? If it's a noun, we say detail. That's an interesting detail. First syllable stress. This is a hard word. A lot of my students make a mistake on this one. A lot of them say something like parenthesis, and it's actually the second syllable. It's parenthesis. Parenthesis. Next one, these can be confusing for a lot of people. How did you say this one? Is it necessary, necessary, or necessary? It's the first one. Necessary. Let's do the last one. Necessity. In this case, it's the second one. If you have a lot of these wrong, don't be discouraged. These are very common words that people make mistakes on. Many of my students get the majority of these words wrong. I wanted to show you how difficult syllable stress is and how important it is for you to be motivated to study these things in detail. In the following lessons, I will teach you some rules of syllable stress. All right, let's learn some rules now. learn some rules for syllable stress with words with 2 syllables. Here's a rule. If the word is a noun, 90% of the time the first syllable is stressed when there are 2 syllables. For example, office, problem, window, paper, building, mother, father. If it's a verb, about 60 to 70% of the time, the second syllable is stressed. For example, apply, agree, create, relax, complain, enjoy. So these are some guidelines. Let's take a look at some words. Is this word pronounced record or is this word pronounced record? It depends on if it's a noun or a verb. I would like to get the new record. Record, first syllable. He broke the world record. But I would like to record that movie. I would like to record my voice. If it's a verb, we get the second syllable. If it's a noun, we get the first syllable. How about this one? Do we say object or do we say object? Again, it depends on if it's a verb or a noun. Object is a noun. That's an interesting object. Or verb, object. I object to your decision. Let's practice some sentences now. I hope to progress. I hope to progress. You're making good progress. You're making good progress. Did he insult him? Did he insult him? Yes, I heard the insult. Yes, I heard the insult. Do you like that object? Do you like that object? No, I object to it. No, I object to it. Is there a conflict between them? Is there a conflict between them? Yes, those two always conflict. Yes, those two always conflict. I want to present you to my family. I want to present you to my family. I will bring them a nice present. I will bring them a nice present. Do you have the insert? Do you have the insert? Where should I insert it? Where should I insert it? Do you recall it? Do you recall it? No, I have no recall of it. No, I have no recall of it. Be careful, it could be that in your language, generally just the first syllable is stressed or the last one is. In that case, pay special attention to this and practice. Let's learn another rule about how syllables are pronounced. We're going to learn about words that end in ATE. As you can see, all three of these words have ATE endings. How do we pronounce this word? Do we say graduate or do we say graduate? Do we say ate or do we say it? Once again, it depends on what kind of word it is. If it's a verb, we fully pronounce ate, and it kind of sounds like the number 8. Graduate. I would like to graduate from college. I will graduate soon. However, If it's an adjective or a noun, then this is reduced and it kind of sounds like it or et. For example, graduate, graduate. He is a college graduate. Or I'm going to graduate school. Look at the next one. This can be a verb. In that case, it's pronounced as estimate. I would like to estimate the cost of this. Or estimate, if it's a noun. Please give me an estimate of the cost. Let's look at this word. How should we say it if it's a verb? You try it. Articulate, right? To articulate. To articulate means to say something really well and really clearly. I would like to articulate it. And we have an adjective equivalent. Articulate. He's a very articulate man. It means he speaks clearly and he speaks well. So if it's a verb, we say ate, and if it's a noun or an adjective, we reduce this ate and we say it. Separate. Separate, separate. Approximate, approximate. Let's practice some more verbs that end with ate. Repeat after me. Negotiate, abbreviate, calculate, nominate, donate. Let's practice some nouns and some adjectives. Delicate. Don't say delicate. That's a very common mistake. Chocolate. A lot of my students say chocolate. It's chocolate because it's a noun. Accurate. Affectionate. Intimate. All right, let's practice some sentences now. Did he graduate from college? Did he graduate from college? Yes, and now he's in graduate school working on his PhD. Yes, and now he's in graduate school working on his PhD. I will calculate it and give you an estimate. I will calculate it and give you an estimate. I don't think that number is accurate. I don't think that number is accurate. I think you're exaggerating the amount. I think you're exaggerating the amount. That's just an approximate estimate. That's just an approximate estimate. Thanks for the chocolate. Thanks for the chocolate. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Remember, ate if it's a verb and it if it's a noun or adjective. Let's learn some more rules now about syllable stress. I will give you some formulas that will help you know which words to stress. But keep in mind, as I told you earlier, there are so many exceptions that it's very important for you to study them on your own and to just look up words that are new for you. But here are some guidelines I can give you regarding syllable stress and suffixes. A suffix is something that goes at the end of the word. For example, quick, quickly. That ly is a suffix. It's an ending. Here are some rules regarding suffixes. If the word ends with ese, we stress the suffix. For example, Chinese. We don't say Chinese, we say Chinese. Japanese. Portuguese. All right, here's another rule. If the word ends with EER, we stress the suffix. For example, pioneer, volunteer, engineer, We don't say engineer, we say engineer. Another rule. If the word ends with I-Q-U-E, we stress the suffix. Antique, boutique, critique, technique. Listen, technical, technique. It changes. Critical, critique. Let's learn another rule. This one has many, many words that end in IC. In this case, we don't stress the suffix, but we stress the syllable immediately before the suffix. Realistic. We don't say realistic. We don't say realistic. We say realistic. Electric. Electricity, electric. Strategic. We say strategy or strategic. Optimistic. Terrific. Pacific. Remember, the syllable before the IC gets stressed. These are some important rules that I believe will help you as you're trying to learn which syllable you're supposed to stress. Let's see how they change when we change it from a noun to an adjective. Listen to the syllable stress changes. Origin, original. Industry, industrial. Memory, memorial. Finance, financial. President, presidential. Keep listening carefully to the way native speakers pronounce words, and you will instinctively develop the ability to figure out which syllable is supposed to be stressed. Now, let's look at what happens to syllables which are not stressed. Look at these words right here. They all have something in common. They all end in a vowel and an M. A-M, E-M, O-M, and U-M. The other thing these words have in common is that the first syllable is stressed and the second syllable is reduced. In some languages, each vowel is pronounced the same way. In some languages, they say ma-dam, ah. In English, remember, syllable stress is extremely important. The syllable that we stress is longer and louder and higher in pitch. Therefore, this A is going to be louder. It's going to be ah. Madam, madam. And this A is going to be completely different from this A. They're two different sounds because one vowel is stressed and one vowel is reduced. Madam. Look at the EM of the word problem. The first syllable is stressed, and the EM will sound exactly the same as the AM of the word madam. Listen, madam, problem. This is and this is also because they're both reduced syllables. Repeat after me. Madam, problem, symptom, album. Don't say madame, problème, symptôme, album. In some languages, you fully pronounce each vowel. In English, we reduce and we stress. It's very important to know which syllable is stressed so that you know what to do with the reduced syllables. Let's look at another example. Look at these three words: o'clock, doctor, and photography. These three words have something in common. Each word has two O's. O, O, O. There are 6 O's here. Look at the first word. This syllable is reduced in this case. The first syllable is reduced. The second syllable is stressed. So this one disappears and becomes this sound, So we say o'clock. We don't say o'clock. we say a clock. How about this one? Do we say doctor or doctor? No, we don't. We stress the first syllable, we reduce the second